What's up, folks? So, should you be quitting your job if you're being mandated to get that shot? Well, of note, worth considering is just a general position on it. The FDA just voted against encouraging or recommending boosters for people over 16 years of age for the Pfizer version of it. So the data is starting to come out right now to support the idea that it is not the one-stop fix-all, end-all, be-all resolution that everybody seemed to be hoping for, wishing for, and there's an argument it was being presented and sold as being. All that being said, those of you guys that are finding yourself in individual situations of whether or not to leave your place of employment because of the overreaching tyrannical policies that are being put in place. Here's my process, my logic that I wanted to share. Number one, everything in life is a trade-off. I've said this before. It's not, new wisdom. It's certainly old wisdom that goes far beyond, my experience. But the trade-off relationship that we have with our decisions and the impacts they have in our lives needs to be considered at every single turn. So if you're somebody who wants to stand up to, the overreaching tyranny of employers and businesses and, all the way up to the government, I fully support that. Obviously, from the beginning, I'm somebody who believes in individual liberties and freedoms and thinks somebody should be able to sort of, navigate their own decisions regarding their own health. But if you are somebody who is being forced to do this in your job and you do not want to do it, well, it starts off with the binary, well, either quit or don't quit. If you quit, there are a certain number of costs that are going to have to be considered. If you do not quit, there's also going to be certain costs that need to be considered. If you are somebody who cannot afford, and I mean, if you don't have your job next month, or at the end of the month, you will not be able to pay your rent. At the end of the week, you will not have food in your refrigerator. Then your life is in a position whereby quitting is not a possibility for you. Now, I say this again in a very, black and white sense. There's always, room for nuance, and I find it hard to believe that many people are truly in a position where if they were to lose their job, they wouldn't be able to have food. But I'm not going to assume that that's not a possibility. But if you're somebody who wants to not take that shot and can afford, even though it's going to be uncomfortable, but can afford to leave their job based on that principle and standing up for one's principle, then obviously I'm somebody, I'm the pressure to power guy. Like, yeah, I'm going to encourage you to do what's necessary to grow. And your position in a general sense in life will continue to improve itself if you decide to always opt for the path that presents the pressure that will eventually lead to power. If you're somebody who doesn't want to take the shot, but doesn't want to be bothered having to find another job, deal with, rearranging your finances, and, well, yeah, take the path of least resistance, continue to be, who you are. However, this video is not to just describe those simple positions. I want to talk about the people who truly see themselves as being in a position where they cannot afford to lose their job, but they also are against the tyrannical overreach of their employers trying to mandate these shots. If you decide, and I will not make a decision for you, but if you decide to take the shot because you cannot, because of your weighing of the trade-offs, cannot afford to lose a job right now, as terrible as that is, people have been sacrificing for their survival since the beginning of time. However, if I were to check in with you in a month from now, 2 months, 6 months, a year from now, would you still be in the same position? Now, the answer to that question, I think is more representative of what got us into this problem in the first place. People are constantly looking to put out fires. Fires erupt. They do everything in their power to put out the fire, but they never think to prevent these fires from starting again. How many of you are living in situations where you have your 2 cars, your $300 cable package, your $1,500 phone, your, I don't know, $300-400 monthly phone bill, your 2-3 vacations a year, you're going out and spending $100 a weekend doing absolutely nothing, nothing healthy for you at any cost. How many of you guys are maintaining that lifestyle, but then truly, I don't even know if you think it, but you're certainly putting it out there that you can't afford to lose your job? And in some of these situations, some of you, lazy fat fucks, here we go. I told myself I wasn't going to curse, but you know how it gets. Some of you lazy fat fucks are going to continue to talk about how you can't afford to lose your job, when one of the worst things that ever fucking happened to you in the first place is your budget got increased. And the one way to fucking make a loser worse off is to give them a bigger fucking budget. And some of you guys should lose your job because you won't be able to afford as much fucking nonsense as you do right now. How many of you guys, we're a year and a half, almost 2 years into this. How many of you are still fat fucks? How many of you are still not worried about your health, not committing time to moving your body? The lack of fucking respect some of you guys have for the opportunities your health has given you is appalling. The fact that some of you, in addition to the lack of respect you have for your own body, the lack of respect you have for the process of impact you're having on your children, on the young people that are around you, the behavior that you're modeling for these people. This sentiment that everything is going to be a pill, or everything's going to be a shot, or, what are you going to do? You don't have any control. You just got to keep your head down and do what you're told. Like the amount of weakness that's being sold off as virtue nowadays is at an all-time high. The problem is, again, and this is another topic, we live in a society that has such a surplus of resources that there's really no consequence for these bad decisions in the short term. You could be a fat fuck and still make a lot of money. You could be a fat fuck, a lazy fuck, and still be relatively happy. You can make sure you're getting those dopamine hits every day, right? Whether it's in the form of, pornography, or, or drinking alcohol, or, being, one of these fucking drooling idiots that's just watching television all day, where other people are deciding, how you're supposed to make yourself feel good. There's too much control that's being given away, but we don't really feel the brunt of it. One of the great things about this health crisis, and yeah, dare I say great things about this health crisis, is it sort of shook a lot of people's Etch-a-Sketch. Etch-a-Sketches. It took your relationship with reality and it turned it on its head. I'm the guy that, 2 years ago now, certainly before this nonsense, I made the video about fat kids, about how we should get together and eliminate this epidemic of childhood obesity. And people seem to think that the only way to help kids, with losing weight is giving them another hug or another, you could do it, Johnny. And that's all bullshit. What we need to do is we need to make being a fat fuck uncool. And the only way that's going to happen is if all you fat, lazy fucks right now start facing the fact that your lifestyle choices have been wrong up until this point where your health is concerned. Own the fucking consequences, own the criticism, become accountable, and then start at least being able to share the proper narrative while you are on your path to getting more healthy. Listen, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was 285 pounds. I was strong as fuck. I was powerlifting. I was happy because, hey, what did I care? I was stronger than everybody in the gym. I was winning in powerlifting competition. Everything was fine right up until COVID hit. And now I was faced with, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit here trying to rationalize why it's still okay to be heavy? Or am I going to start paying attention to what the fuck I'm doing, listen to my body, see what's going on with the people who are suffering from these things the most, and make the necessary lifestyle adjustments? You know, I've lost over 50 pounds. Right now I'm outside the fucking gym. I just wanted to talk about this before I went into the gym. You know, so I don't present myself as somebody who's never had an issue where these things are concerned. Quite the opposite. You know, I have had the same battles as anybody else has, you know, when it comes to, you know, just opting for the path of comfort, you know, where the power is actually found in the other direction. But here we are now. You know, people are dying. People are continuing to get complications. You know, it is now a proven fact that there is a strong correlation between obesity and elevated complications when it comes to getting this disease. It's a proven fact that the younger people in our society are disproportionately receiving or experiencing higher levels of complications when they're obese. You know, see, the thing is, the universe is going to have its balance, whether you like it or not. You don't have to agree with whether or not, you know, you should be lighter, lower in body fat, whether you should be exercising more. You don't have to agree. That's okay. You know, the probability is you're still going to die at a higher rate than somebody who does believe that and does respect and honor it. You know, so to the people who are in jobs that it's being mandated, you know, this goes beyond just the threat of the disease. This goes beyond just the threat of your employment and the value and resources that job and that employment brings. This speaks to the core of who you are and what you're doing incrementally from day to day. I'm arguing for, yeah, you should have a daily physical routine that allows you to become healthier physically. But the other side of that coin is you should also have represented in the form of a daily ritual, those things that incrementally allow you to be more independent, so you do not have to sort of bend the knee to the tyrants who are holding your ability to feed your family over your head by mandating a shot that now, you know, studies are coming out to prove more and more how just less effective it actually is. You know, right now I have, you know, I don't want to get into too many specifics, but, you know, 2 of my family members recently had to be hospitalized because of complications from COVID. One was fully vaccinated. One was not. You know, I've had 5, 6 members of my family recently become positive from COVID. All but one were vaccinated, or the rest of them were vaccinated. You know, what was the, and obviously not specific testing has been done, but it seems to be accepted that the individual who gave it to this, you know, cohort of family members of mine was a vaccinated health worker. You know, so listen, like I said, do what you want, but just understand, if you're somebody that has to bend the knee to somebody else's will, you have to abide by the directives of a tyrant. It's because you're weak. If you want to consider yourself to not be weak, but you're just, you know, you just need this job, okay, you're not weak. Your life is weak. The reality you've created for yourself and the people you care about, you know, the people who rely on you, you know, all of that is weak. You know, so it's semantics at that point. You know, do whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter to me. Well, I guess it does in some way, because I feel the need to have this sort of cathartic outlet every once in a while with a talk like this. But if you got to take the shot, yeah, take the shot. But just understand how pathetic that is. And I'm not saying, you know, don't take it, it's pathetic. You guys, you know, we all, I guess, you know, I'm going to include myself just so I don't seem like a complete asshole, but we all have to do some pathetic things every once in a while. I get it. You know, I get it. But are you still going to be that weak? Is your situation and your life design going to be this week, a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? Because if it is, then, you know, like everybody else, you know, you may not like what you get, but you fucking deserve every bit of it. I appreciate you guys. You know, there's a lot of work out there that's going to make us better. You know, it's your job to go and get that work. Talk to you guys soon.